Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel and welcome to the Ultimate Racing League for another Sunday evening challenge. This is our Sunday challenge. I'm with the League of Champions and we are in Brazil, in Sao Paulo at the Interlagos track. Bit of a Marmite track, you either love it or you hate it. But we'll see how these guys get on. We've got two 20 lap races for you today. The first one just being an out-and-out sprint race. The second one, the guys are going to have to stop and change or use mediums. So they can start on mediums or softs but swap to the other one. You know what I mean. But we'll talk more about that one in race 2. Just before we get too carried away, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsors, and that's w.gg, the energy drink for gamers, and also new this season is EAC, that's Eldridge Air Conditioning. Thanks to both of those guys for sponsoring us this season. I also do want to quickly mention the other commentators as well who cover the other leagues. As you know, this is the League of Champions. Sean Daniels at Mystery Inc. Racing, he covers League 1. Firepower 2708, he covers League 2. He can be found on the URL YouTube website. Paul, he covers League 3, also can be found on the URL. It's URL Paul E_72. And Ruthless Rufus, all one word, he covering League 4. So they're the commentators covering the other league, so do head over and check them out, and you're in for some great racing there as well. Also, I just want to say, if you do like what you're seeing and you do enjoy these races, then do please hit that like button. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. It does help us out, and if you want to share these races, by all means do. It really does help the channel out. Onto the track. As I've said already, we are Interlagos. 2.67 miles of it, 15 turns with the famous Senna S's at turn 1. So yeah, as I said earlier, it's a Marmite track. You either love it or you hate it, but I'm sure these guys will make it look very easy. So we'll get straight into race 1. Mentioned it earlier, it is just an out-and-out sprint race. Get around as fast as you can. Everybody will be on the soft tyres, and as you can see, it's a bit dark out there. That makes seeing the apexes a little bit harder. So yeah, I'm sure we're in for some great racing. The guys have been out, they've done 10 minutes of qualifying. So let's just have a rundown of the grid, shall we? Starting in pole position is Bailey. He's got his teammate Smith tucked in right behind him. Toten is in 3rd. Neil Farmack in 4th. Derg is in 5th. Toby 6th. Osman 7th. Did an interview with Osman during the week. Go and check that out. Really nice guy. Really great interview with Osman. Moz is in 8th. Fitzy 9th. Inky 10th. Grasshopper is 11th. Paul is 12th. Seamus Cash 13th. And Sideways George 14th. So we've got 14 on the grid, which is a fantastic turnout. We can see all the headlights there, not really the cars, but let's get this race started, shall we? It is a rolling start, if you're wondering why they're all lined up as they are. As we head towards the start-finish line, Bailey is going to get us underway down towards turn 1 and the start of the Senna S's. Everybody's going to be jostling for position, trying to get a bit of slipstream in. You're not going to get much at the first turn because they're not really going fast enough. But through the Senna S's for the first time. Now onto the Rita Aposta straight. This is where you can get your foot down, heading towards turn 4. Toby looks like he's going to have a look at the inside of Derg. It looks like he's got it done as well. Positioned his car very early, didn't he, Toby? So Toby moving up into 5th. Derg's already dropped to 6th then. Everybody streaming through. We are all still facing the right way, which is what I'm looking for, and that's the main thing. As Grasshopper having a quick look at Paul up the inside. Paul shutting the door on that one though. I've said it many times, the only thing really about these night races is the fact you can see those brake discs glowing red hot. apart from that, we've got to get very close to the cars to see them. But Bailey and Smith, the two teammates out in front, looking to open up a bit of a gap as we come around the final turn, 15 to complete lap 1. Remember, it's a 20 lap race, we're not on the clock for this one. Everybody in the same car, the Lexus LCF something or other, 17. Bad, isn't it? I don't even know the car and I drive it. So let's have a look. Toten is in third. Toby moved up to fourth. So Toby's definitely on a charge. He's not messing around, is he? He's got Neil Farmack tucked in behind him in fifth. Down towards turn 4 again. Dirk now in 6th. We've got Osman in 7th. Then Moz. It's a very tight track. Not many overtaking places. Obviously the straights are going to be the obvious one. And if you get close enough and lucky enough, you may be able to sneak up the inside of one of the turns. But it is a very tricky track to get by somebody. And in these conditions, it's very tricky, as I said, to see the apex, and it's even trickier for us to see the cars. As we're following Inky through a very tricky section, through turns 10, 11, down towards 12. Is it Junko? Excuse my pronunciation. Those that have watched quite a few of the races, you know I'm not that fantastic at pronouncing some of these corner names, but we'll give it a go, eh? Having a look. Everybody quite close together still. No real gaps opening up. Seamus Cash in 14th, although he's not that far behind the rest, so it is all nice and tight at the minute. We've still got Bailey and Smith out in front. Bailey just opening up a little bit of a gap to his teammate. Smith having to fend off Toten. Let's go on board with Toten, shall we, as we try and have a bit of a look at Smith. We've got Toby behind. We already know Toby's on a charge. He's not messing about today, is he, Toby? He's trying to get his car in a position to make a move on Toten already. You need to take as much of that right-hand curb as you can, which will set you up for this next left-hander. Out of 10, 11, onto 12. Oh, and let's have a look. Where is he? Toby is all over the back of Toten. Is he going to have a look at the inside? He's in his mirrors. You're not going to get it done there, Toby, but I think the plan is, excuse me, he wants to get as close as he can to Toten so that now they're onto the back straight. Is he going to make a move? I think he is. Toten defending, he's taking the inside line. Toby he can't quite get it done, can he? Oh, as Toten has a look at the inside of Smith, and there was definitely contact. Let's just go back. So Toten is concentrating on Toby, that he's trying to make the move on him. Toten goes for a move up the inside of Smith and just catches that rear quarter and sends Smith sideways. That's allowed Toby through. Smith recovers. Oh, and Toten's in a right scrap now. That little touch on Smith allowed Toby through. Smith has continued and stays in second, but Neil Farmack is now all over the back of Toten. So just coming out of those the centre S's, all went wrong for Toten, so he's just now got to sort of gather his thoughts and concentrate, as we see Toby now starting to put the pressure on Smith. So through this just a tricky section, around turns 8, 9, 10, 11, very twisty and windy, as you can see in the map at the top right. So around turn 10 into 11, Toby looks like he's going to try and do the same tactics. He wants to get as close as he can to Smith so he can make a move on the start-finish straight. Excuse me. Now, is he close enough? He'll definitely be in the slipstream, but I don't know whether he's going to get close enough to actually make a move. Let's just stick with Toby at the minute. In fact, let's go on board with Toby. Down to turn 1, the start of the centre S's. This is where it all went wrong for Toten. Although Toten has recovered now, he's back into 4th position, just behind Toby. So Toby not going to be able to get it done there. Down the Rita Aposta towards turn 4. Now turn 4 is actually called Descida Delago. Descida Delago? Roughly translated means a big left-hander. So Toby really putting the pressure on Smith. Desperately wants to take that 2nd position away from him. All the while these guys are fighting. Obviously Bailey can start scampering away, although he's picked a penalty up. That'll be a track limits. Now then, that half second, you can see the bar filling up. Let's just have a look and watch Bailey as he serves it. It's in a really awkward position, this the penalty zone. You take that turn 12 and you start up the hill, and then you hit this penalty zone, which slows you down, so you've got to get your momentum going again. Now then, is Smith going to get close enough to make a move on Bailey? Will he make a move on Bailey? He's too busy at the minute fighting Toby off, so Smith, it looks like Smith has... Oh no, and Toby's got through. Or has he? Toby's on the inside through the centre S's. Toby back down. Let's just go back and watch that move again. So heading towards turn 1, Toby pulls to the right. He's going to have to go the long way round. He nearly gets a move done on Bailey. Smith back on the inside, then Toby on the inside. We thought he got through, but then Smith has got the inside line all the way around turn 3. And Toby has to slot back in again to position 3 with Toten in 4 just behind him again as they were before. So we'll have a rundown of the order, shall we? We've got Bailey out in front still, led from the start. He's got his wingman Smith in 2nd. We've got Toby in 3rd, Toten 4th, Neil Farmack 5th, Dirk 6th. Osman is in 7th. He's putting the pressure on Dirk, almost pushing him along. Oh, now somebody went very wide there and got our tyres on the dirt. Fitzy in 8th. We've got Moz 9th, then Inky, Grasshopper. Bit of a gap, a little bit of a gap between Inky and Grasshopper. Nothing too major though. So Grasshopper will be trying to close that up. Paul in 12th. Seamus Cash in 13th. And then Sideways in 14th. I'm not sure what's happened to Sideways, but let's just see if we can go back and see what happened to Sideways. It wasn't that far off of everybody, and then let's just see what's happened. Is he just slowed down? Is he had a problem? Oh, there it was. There it was. He just got his wheels on the grass and it spun him around. Very, very easily done. So that's dropped Sideways down to 14th, and he's now got quite a fight on his hands if he wants to close that gap up to Seamus Cash. Dirty tyres as well, so he's going to have to take his time around this section. Down 11, 12 and 13. He's got to clear them tyres. So that's unlucky for Sideways George. Back up to our race leader Bailey, and if you look behind, the fight is still on between Toby and Smith. Toby getting himself on the inside. No, sorry, the outside. Don't know what I was looking at then. Well, this is great racing between these two. Oh, and Toby just gets his nose in front as they enter this squiggly section, shall we call it? A series of rights and lefts and rights. Never really able to get your foot down properly in this section. So around turn 10, Toby has made it stick. He's got himself into second. He can concentrate on trying to get onto the back of Bailey now. As they head towards Junical, it's turn 12. Got through 13 and then 14 and 15 and on to the start finish straight. So Toby getting himself in second. He is on a proper charge, isn't he, in this race? Not sure the yellow headlamps are the best things to have at night. They look fantastic, but I don't really like the track up very well, do they? But it doesn't seem to be affecting Toby at all. So Toby in second. Smith has now dropped to third. Totem still sitting there in fourth. Then we've got Neil Farmack, Osman, Derg. So Osman has managed to get past Derg. I apologise we missed that. Fitzy, Moz in ninth. Then a bit of a gap then back to Grasshopper. It doesn't seem to be closing, does it? That gap. Inky in 11th. Paul, Seamus Cash, and then sideways after he came off. I'm not quite sure sideways is going to recover from that, but he'll keep going. So let's just have a look at Bailey. He's got a bit of breathing space, although as we've already seen, Toby is on a bit of a charge. Bailey with the fastest lap so far though, 1:30.9, and another purple sector as well for Bailey, so he's not messing about either. Obviously very conscious that Toby is right behind him. Toby's last lap was a 1:31, so according to paper is slightly off of the pace of Bailey, but he does, as I say, he is on a bit of a charge. Smith still in third, then Toten. About two car widths between everybody at the minute. Neil Farmack in fifth, although they are still in slipstream range. Maybe not enough though to make a move. Osman now got Neil Farmack in his sights. Down towards turn 4. This long sort of double left-hander before heading towards the start of this tricky section, a series of turns 8, 9, 10 and 11. A right, a left, a right, a left. But Osman is he's getting closer to Neil Farmack. The tactic seemed to be is try and get as close as you can through this section so you can get into the slipstream on the start finish straight and make your move before we get to the centre S's and turn 1. And that looks like what Osman's trying to do. Let's go on board with Osman as we're trying to get in the slipstream of Neil Farmack. Obviously with all the cars, they're all the same make. It's the Lexus RCF 17 model, so there is no difference in power, so the slipstream really does help. But as you can see, although Osman was catching Neil Farmack, he couldn't get close enough to actually make a move on him. As they go around turns 2 and 3 onto the Retro Aposta straight. Now can Osman get a move done at turn 4? This double left-hander. No, he's still going to have to sit there. You can see we've got Dirk just behind, although not really threatening at the minute. This is the section where you've just got to keep it on track, no silly mistakes. Don't want to get on that grass as we saw with Sideways George. Now the next very tight right hand, turn 10, through 11, just feathering it through, getting the power down now. Hard on the brakes for turn 12. Oh, and Toten's gone. Let's just go back and see what happened to Toten. And we were just saying about taking your time through there, excuse me, and not getting on the grass, and I'm wondering if that's exactly what's happened to Toten. Yes, he did. The rear right wheel just got on the grass and flipped him round, and that is so unlucky for Toten. Very sensible return to the track though, it wasn't in a rush. That's cost him, what, 4 or 5 places? That is so unlucky for Toten. A good return to track though, didn't just rush straight on there and cause a big accident, wait for the other guys to go. But he will be cussing and cursing in that car. Well, actually, I doubt he will. He's so laid back, is Toten. Lovely guy. He'll be annoyed with himself, but as for the cussing and cursing, I very much doubt it. As we go and try and find the next big fight. So Bailey's still out in front. We're on lap 11. Just over 16 minutes into the race. So 9 more laps to go. And Bailey's still out in front. Toby in second. Can't quite get close enough to Bailey. Smith in third. Smith obviously missed the Spa race last week. It was last week, yes. So Smith missed that. So he'll be desperate to do well in these races, get some points on the board. We'll have a look at the points before the start of race 2. I apologise for not doing them now, but we will do them before we go into race 2. Neil Farmack in 4th, Osman 5th. Osman not quite close enough to Neil to do anything about it, to make a move on him. We've got Dirk down in 6th. As I say, everybody pretty evenly spaced out now. While we're watching him, I do want to give a shout out to Dirk. He sorts all the points out. He looks after the website for us. So many thanks to him for doing all of that. He looks after the points for all of the leagues as well, Sundays, Wednesdays. So we just want to say, Dirk, you're the best. And thank you. As we see, Moz in 7th. As I say, very tricky section. This is very easy to get take too much curb, get your wheels on the grass. We've just seen Toten do it, and it does cost you as well. See, he will be in the slipstream of Moz, but I don't think he's going to get close enough to actually make it count. We'll just stick with Fitzy for a second. He's going to gain a bit of ground on Moz, as I say, but he's not going to get close enough. He's not, no. As they enter turn 1, the start of the centre S's again for lap 13. Toten doing everything he can to catch back up. Now down in 9th after that spill he had earlier at turn 12. Grasshopper in 10. Can't really see the car up ahead, but he can definitely see Inky behind him. Then got Seamus Cash, he's got Paul for company. Paul just sitting in 13th at the minute. Well, I'm not sure what Paul obviously had a bit of an issue on the last lap. He got a 140, so that's not like Paul at all. So apologies I missed that one, but he's obviously had a bit of a moment, shall we say. Paul this season, as I mentioned earlier, is covering League 3, so you can see the YouTube name is the same as the one above his car, so head over there and check that out if you want to watch the League 3 guys. A great commentator as well is Paul. I love watching his races and listening to his commentary. Very knowledgeable of the tracks as well. Then we've got George, as I said earlier. I don't think he's quite going to recover from the spill he had earlier, so he's just going to get round there to get the last place points. However, out in front, Bailey still leading 14 laps. He's been out in front now and looking comfortable. He's still got Toby behind him. Toby has got a little bit closer. Are there enough laps left though for him to make a move and possibly take that win away from Bailey? We shall see. See the flames licking out the side exhaust of that Lexus as we go down the gears. Smith in third, although he's dropped off the pace a little bit. He's allowed the front two to get away from him, so he's got a bit of work to do now if he wants to reel them in. We've got 6 laps to go, and so there is enough time, but he really needs to get his foot down. We've got Neil Farmack in 4th. Osman 5th. No real battle taking place at the minute. I mentioned it earlier, everybody seems to be sort of 2, 3, 4 car lengths apart. Durgin 6. Moz in 7th. Nobody under any real pressure. Well, Fitzy maybe from Toten. So Fitzy in 8th, Toten in 9th. Down towards turn 4 then. Let's just see if Toten can get into Fitzy's slipstream and maybe put him under a lot more pressure. Try and force a mistake. You can see the brake disc glowing red hot. I mentioned it at the beginning. It's about the only thing I like about these night races. Of course, then brake discs have to be changed for every race. They're about £1,000 a pop, I've been told. So it's £4 a race. It's not a cheap sport, this racing. And then you've got the tyres on top. You can't just pop down to Quick Fit and get a new set. They are special tyres. And then the mechanics will be working on the cars in between races as well, repairing any scrapes and dents that the guys might have picked up whilst racing, as we're seeing Toten now getting right onto the back of Fitzy. Let's go on board with Toten once again. He's definitely in the slipstream, but can he make it count? Fitzy doesn't go defensive there. I don't think he feels he has to. Ooh, get that car slowed down, Toten. Dallas took him right under the bumper of Fitzy, so I don't think Toten meant to get that close. So he's got to start again. He did get he got right under the bumper, didn't he? But now he's had to back off. He's at those center S's and he's going to start again. Ooh, bit of a twitch there from Toten. Toten obviously doesn't use traction control. Very brave man, especially with this car. It is quite tail happy if you go on the accelerator too quickly. So again through turns 10 and 11, or 8, 9, 10 and 11 should I say. Oh, now we've had a change at the top, so let's go back and see what's happened there then. Sorry, I've got to go back quite a way, but I definitely want to see this. Excuse me. So we're on the Retro Apostle straight. Toby pulls alongside Bailey. He's going to have to go around the outside. Bailey trying to defend it. Toby looking for the switchback. Gets it done. Gets himself on the inside now. Through turn 5. And Toby steals that number 1 spot away from Bailey. Can he make it stick? They're almost side by side through turn 6 into 7. Still side by side. Fantastic racing from these guys. Oh, Toby getting a bit sideways. Manages to hold on to it though. Keeps it in first. Now down into turn 10. Bailey having a look up the inside. Toby's going to be on the inside though as they're coming through turn 11. And Toby gets his nose in front. Through turn 12. Junkow onto 13. Heading towards the start finish straight, and Toby has made his stick and has took the lead. So we have a new race leader on lap 16 approaching the start finish line to start lap 17. So some fantastic driving between these two. A brilliant move by Toby, although Bailey is now fighting back. Bailey trying to get the switch back, but Toby's closing the door on him. Let's go on board with Bailey. Onto the Retro Apostle straight, down towards turn 4. Is Bailey going to get close enough to make a move? No, he didn't even attempt it, did he? He's just going to sit there now and try and put the pressure on Toby. We're on lap 17 of 20. Into turn 6, 7. And then straight into 8. It's very, very tight right hand. Take as much as you can on the right. Then the left to turn 9 into turn 10. Another sharp right hander. Down into first gear. Steady on the accelerator as you come out. Into turn 12 again, trying not to get too aggressive on the accelerators. We've seen that car then having a bit of a complaint to Bailey as he tried to get the power down. That split second there has allowed Toby just to inch away. Now that's going to break the slip a little bit. So Bailey got a bit of work to do now to get back onto the arse end of Toby. As they go through the centre S's. We said at the very beginning, didn't we, that Toby was on a charge, and he's proven us right. He's now the new race leader. Fantastic racing between Toby and Bailey. Great to watch. I bet it was even better to be involved in. Smith in third. We did nickname Bailey and Smith the Cray Twins a few seasons back because they did seem to hunt in pairs. Everything they did together, and they're still doing it. So Bailey second, Smith third. They're nothing like the Cray Twins, obviously. They are a great pair of lads, really nice guys. Not like the Cray Twins. Not that I know. I don't know the Cray Twins. They might have been nice when they weren't killing people. Anyway, enough of that. Neil Farmack in fourth. Osman fifth. Dirk is sixth. Then we've got Moz. Toten made his way up into 8th. Fitzy 9th. Grasshopper. Inky. Paul made his way back up into 12th. Seamus Cash 13th, and then sideways in 14th. So back up to our leader. We're on lap 19. Toby trying to get away from Bailey. Bailey trying to catch back up to Toby to get close enough to nick that spot back again off of him. Bit of a gap then back to Smith. Smith might be thinking now, this is it, I've got the third podium spot, I'm just going to hold on to this for now. We're about a lap and a half through, left should I say. Neil Farnack in fourth. He's having to fight Osman off. Been some great racing in this first race. Second race, I mentioned it at the beginning, the guys will have to stop to change tyres, so a bit of a tactical battle will be taking place in race 2 as well as the sprint side of it, so join me again shortly for that. Derg in 6th, so we're just going to go down. Who's got the penalty? It's Paul's picked up a half-second penalty. Not been too many penalties actually, that I've noticed anyway, which is surprising. It's very easy to pick a penalty up on this track, although you can really abuse the curbs and the track limits, but there's lots of places to pick a penalty up, is what I'm trying to say. Yes, you can abuse the track limits, but rather than having 1 or 2 spots that you'll pick them up, they're all over this track. So back up to our race leader, he's on his final lap. Toby out in front, just got to keep it together. I don't think Bailey's going to get close enough to do anything about it now, so Toby's just got to keep it together, and he's going to take the win. Bailey's going to have to settle for second, I think. Only a mistake from Toby is going to open the door for him, as we see them going around turn 11 down towards turn 12 now for the final time in this race. Keeping it together, fantastic race from Toby, a well-deserved win really. He set his stall out very early on. We know exactly what he wanted to do. So a fantastic win for Toby. A flash of the lights to celebrate. He knows he's got it. Bailey in second. Great race for Bailey. Smith in third. Neil Farmack is going to come home in fourth, with Osman just behind him in fifth. Derg is going to take sixth. Toten had a great first part of the race, has settled for seventh. Moz in eighth. Fitzy ninth. Grasshopper is going to come back home in 10th. He'll want to do better in the second race, I'm sure. But all on his lonesome is Grasshopper as he crosses the line to take 10th. Quite a gap then back to Inky, but Inky is going to take 11th. With Paul just behind him in 12th. Jameis in 13th. Not been his night tonight, and sideways after that disastrous crash at the beginning of the second part of the race, which put him all the way down, but he lives to fight another day. Does sideways as he crosses the line to take 14th. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, if you do enjoy these races, please hit the like button, and if you've not already, subscribe, and we shall catch you very soon for race 2.